Welcome to tonight's Saturday night special, where I'm talking about introverts, extroverts, and social isolation. Welcome to tonight's Saturday night special, where I'm talking about introverts, extroverts, and social isolation. I really hate that term, social isolation. It sounds like we're supposed to not talk to other human beings. The truth is, right now, what we're supposed to do is separate ourselves physically from each other. But socially, we still need to connect. That is so important so that we can all help each other and serve each other and thrive even in this time of challenge.
Welcome and thank you for joining us on the Inspired Stewardship podcast. If you truly desire to become the person who God wants you to be, then you must learn to use your time, your talent, and your treasures for your true calling. In the Inspired Stewardship podcast, you will learn to invest in yourself, invest in others, and develop your influence so that you can impact the world.
Welcome to tonight's Saturday night special, where I talk with you about how introverts and extroverts are dealing with social distancing and what you can do about it. You know, one area that a lot of folks need some help with is around the area of productivity. Getting not just more things done, but actually getting the right things done can be really, really tough. I've got a course called Productivity for Your Passion that's designed to help you do this and then to hold you accountable and walk with you so that you can tailor productivity not just to be getting more done, but actually getting the right things done. What's more, we take the approach of looking at your personality and how you actually look at things in the world and tailor the productivity system to your personality. Because the truth is, a lot of the systems that are out there are written really well for somebody with a particular personality type. But if you have a different approach to things, they just don't work. But there's tools and techniques and approaches that you can take that will work for anyone. And we help you do that in Productivity for Your Passion. Check it out over at inspiredstewardship.com/launch. If, like me, you've seen the memes going around about how introverts and extroverts are dealing with social distancing, you've probably seen a few different jokes and stories about how, the introverts are all thriving in this time and, the extroverts are now struggling. And the truth is, that's not completely true. There are both introverts and extroverts thriving during this time. They're just doing it in different ways. And the real value here, the real power here is recognizing what you are and what you need, and then stepping back and setting up the systems, the processes, the tools, the habits that allow you to thrive in this time. See, the truth is people have been telecommuting and working from home for decades now. And some of those people are introverts and some of those people are extroverts. And the problems they have and the way they work is going to be different. So first off, let's define introvert and extrovert. And I'm going to use a real simple test and a real simple decision. The truth is, if you don't know if you're an introvert or extrovert, think about during normal times, not right now, but during normal times, if you had an extra 2 hours free, would you rather spend it doing an activity surrounded by a large group of people, or would you rather do an activity with just maybe a few close friends or even no one? It's kind of do you read a book in your spare time, or do you go to a club or a dance or a concert in your spare time? Now, don't get me wrong. Introverts occasionally go to concerts and other things. It's not that they never get out in large groups of people. But the truth is, introverts, when they get out in those large groups, it drains their energy. While when extroverts are around a large group of people, it gives them energy. So if you're an extrovert right now and you're having to deal with social distancing, you're not able to go into the office, you're not able to go down to the Starbucks or a restaurant and be surrounded by that noise and energy of people, you're going to have to do some things differently to give yourself that energy. And the challenge for introverts is because introverts, and I'm an introvert in many ways, because introverts kind of want to self-isolate and go to their own little place, right now when there's so much stress and anxiety going on, this can actually cause problems. It can lead to depression. It can lead to frustration. It can lead to exhaustion because they don't want to socialize, but they become trapped in their own minds. So you need to have some tools and some techniques in place as an introvert too to deal with this kind of social distancing. So let's talk a little bit about some of the practical tips. We'll do extroverts first because, in many ways, extroverts are going to be struggling the most right now because they need that energy of other people surrounding them. That's what gets them through the day. And so what you've got to do is create that environment virtually. It's not ideal. It's not perfect, but there's ways you can do that. For example, you can set up a Zoom call with 3 or 4 of your coworkers, and at the top of the hour, take 10 or 15 minutes and just chat about what you're going to focus on and do that hour. Have a little bit of small talk to each other and enjoy each other's company, and then leave the mics on so that you can hear each other working and get to work. At the end of the hour, come back 15 minutes, spend some time together, or even set up kind of water cooler moments with some of your other extroverted coworkers. Schedule times that y'all get on the phone or get on a Zoom call, preferably Zoom because you can see each other, or Skype or something like that, and chat for 15 to 30 minutes. Have lunch with your colleagues virtually. Set up lunch dates where you actually get on a Zoom call and have lunch together. Play even some games together. Now, don't use that as an excuse to not do any work, but you can schedule some relaxation time and play online games together where you can actually talk to each other, hear each other's voices, maybe even see each other's face. There are apps out there that allow you to do that. There's an app and a tool that will allow you to set up a virtual coffee shop with the noises that you would hear in a coffee shop called Coffidity, which is really hard to say. And I'll put a link to that in the show notes. So there's ways that you can do that online or offline as well. So as extroverts, what you need to do is look for the opportunities and the tools that allow you to surround yourself with both the visual and the noise and the energy of people, and schedule times to have regular conversations with other human beings. Now, as introverts, here's the challenge for you. The challenge for you is that you generally want to go into yourself. You want to self-isolate. That's your natural tendency. But right now, with all of the stress and energy, you have to find times and ways to create both quiet space and to create some time with other people. You need to limit it, obviously, but again, just like the extrovert, you still need to have some social time. Schedule it. Maybe it's only 5 minutes, though, instead of 15 to 30. You probably don't want the Zoom call with a whole bunch of people on, or while that's on, you want to mute all of those people and minimize the video so you're not seeing them or hearing them except at the top of the hour when you check in with each other. So you can use the same tools, but use it in a different way. You want to schedule some time to do activities that aren't alone activities, or activities that take you outside where you can get the sunlight and the energy from that. Because the truth is, we have a tendency sometimes as introverts to go into ourselves in a way that isn't healthy. And so you need to force yourself to get out of that comfort zone at least a little bit, but not as much. The extrovert needs to do that with a larger amount of time. And for some of you, you've got the additional challenge of now 2 people or more than 2 people are working from home in the same environment. And some of those people are introverts and some are extroverts. So you need to create some separation even inside the home of space and time so that the extroverts can do some of the things they need to do without causing the introvert too much stress. And the introvert can do some of the things that they need to do without causing the extrovert too much stress. You need to communicate about it. You need to have a separate space if at all possible. You need to spend some time getting outside of yourself and outside of your house if you can. Some places that's not allowed right now, but if it is allowed in your region, still spend some time outdoors every day. As an introvert or as an extrovert, you can do well in this time, but the trick is to be aware of what you need and who you are, and then set up the systems and the processes and the tools to get what you need so that you can thrive even in this age of social isolation. And by the way, I really hate that term, social isolation. It sounds like we're supposed to not talk to other human beings. The truth is right now what we're supposed to do is separate ourselves physically from each other. But socially, we still need to connect. That is so important so that we can all help each other and serve each other and thrive even in this time of challenge. Thanks for listening.
Thanks so much for listening to the Inspired Stewardship podcast. As a subscriber and listener, we challenge you to not just sit back and passively listen, but act on what you've heard and find a way to live your calling. If you enjoyed this episode, please do us a favor. Go over to inspiredstewardship.com/iTunes rate, all one word, iTunes rate. It'll take you through how to leave a rating and review and how to make sure you're subscribed to the podcast so that you can get every episode as it comes out in your feed. Until next time, invest your time, your talent, and your treasures. Develop your influence and impact the world.